So official. Okay, we're doing a bunch of hip stuff today. So we're gonna go through at least 3 different rounds of a bunch of hip strengthening stuff with some abs in between. So you'll feel like you did a bunch of cool, fun stuff and like you got a lot of focus on the hips. So start off on the knees, 1 foot down in front of you. Arms go up and over the head, shift the weight forward, reach the fingertips overhead. So I think we did this last week. If we did, this is just like a revisit of it. This is probably my favorite hip stretch. Forward, hip drive, reverse overhead reach. So go through 12 of these, 6 on each side, and you should feel like there's no rush. Sink into that movement, reach the fingertips back, reach. You should be feeling a big stretch in the front of that hip that's behind you. So we're trying to focus on that stretch in the front of the hip. All right, 6 of each of those. Then you're gonna go into a plank. So whenever you're ready, chin to the chest, roll down slowly, and you'll put the hands on the ground, walk the feet back, and we're gonna do these hip openers. So go right foot steps wide, left foot steps wide, right foot goes back, left foot goes back. Go through 6 of those, leading with the same foot every time. And hold each of those for just a second. So you're getting this big stretch. So no rush here. 6 where you're leading with that right foot. 6 where you're leading with that left foot. Big steps. This is going to be progressive. We're just going to keep working into it a little bit more each round. All right, when you're done with those 6 leading with the right leg, you'll go to 6 leading with the left leg. It looks the same. Left foot out, right foot out, left foot back, right foot back. Should feel good-ish. Get the heart rate up a little bit. So this is pretty much everything involved. Shoulder stability, back and core. 6 on each side. When you're done with those 6, stand up slowly. All right, so straight leg lift. Go through 15 just straight leg lifts with 1 leg. Spine is vertical. Shoulders are staying stacked over the hips. And you should feel that effort isolated to the front of that hip. What's responsible for when you're running that knee drive up. When you're done with 15 of those, you got a lot of those. 15-ish. Remember, I always do things in ishes. When you're done with those 15, hold the legs comfortably high as you can. And think about pulling the knee up and then returning back to that position. Knee up, extend. Let's say our count's gonna be 10 to 15. For some people, it's like, you just can't, I'm not sure I can get through 15 of these. So aim for 10, if you can chip away 1 or 2 more, great. If you can get to 15, awesome. I feel like a lot of work for the front of that hip. So that's 2 things on 1 leg, and then we're gonna switch sides. So whenever you're ready, you'll go to that fresh leg. 15 relatively straight leg raises. You don't have to have the leg locked out, but the idea is you're not bending it when you're lifting it. It can have a little bend in it, but you're keeping that angle the whole time. 15 straight leg raises. And then you're gonna go through 15 where you're holding it comfortably high, pulling the knee in, extending the leg. Pulling the knee in, extending the leg. Yeah, go through 15 of those. All right. From there, we're gonna go, if you have a glider or if you have socks on a hardwood floor, that's awesome. If you don't have anything, your foot can just slide back. You don't necessarily need a glider. But imagine if you do have a glider, you can put it under 1 foot, or if you have socks or a towel on a hardwood floor, we're just taking that back leg straight back and then back up to neutral. I just got stuck on our rope. So go back up to neutral. Reverse, back to neutral. And think you're trying to keep your rectangles straight, right? So there's no tilt, there's no rotation, and there's no lean forward. So notice we're trying to keep the lower back engaged. Almost think about pulling the shoulders back and almost adding that little like lean back at the end of that.
How many?
15, we got a lot of these. It's gonna be exactly the same on the other side. Switch sides. Remember, we're doing like 10 to 15. I think I said 15, but if 10 feels like, hey, that's all I've got. Great, 10 works. Imagine you're keeping a little bit of weight in that sliding foot as well. If it were completely loose, you wouldn't be doing much to pull that leg back in. So keep some pressure down into that foot that's sliding back. All right, you have 15 of those. And then we're gonna go back down to your plank, arms straight. And just imagine the legs are passing each other at that halfway point. So it's like mountain climbers, but you're just sliding the feet. One goes forward, one goes back. 10 each way, and you're going slow. On each leg. Nice job, keeping the hips low. And then when you're done with those guys, lay down on your back. We'll give the hips a little break. All right, when you're done with those slow mountain climbers, lay back on your back. We're gonna let the hips check out a little bit. So tuck the knees tight into this little ball. And you're trying to lift the hips up, pause, let them down slowly. Lift the hips up, pause, let the hips back down slowly. So the knees are tucked in as tight as they can possibly be. 15 of these guys, hips up, pause, slow down. Hips up, pause, slow on the way back down. Nice job. So this should feel like the hips get a little break. Abs do all the work here. Hip raise, slow, controlled descent. Nice job. These should feel good. Abs have been just kind of along for the ride while the hips did all the hard work. So now it's their turn to work. 15, and then go legs straight up. Now the opposite of what you were doing, which was slow and controlled, and just think 15 quick. See if you can not bring the toes as far over the chin. That's kind of their limiter. They can have a little swing, but ideally you're really just lifting the hips straight up. 15 short and fast. Nice job. And then finish with this chin to the chest, super, super slow. Drop the legs down. Once you're done with those 15 raises, chin to the chest, hold both legs there. And you're just doing these little flutter kicks. So waking the hips up again. 15 on each side. All right, when you're done with 15 on each side, we'll go through that again. So grab your little cushion. I guess I never suggested that early on, but ideally you have this little cushion for your knees. It helps the old knees. I could fold mine over like 20 times and it still wouldn't be enough. All right, so that first time we did this big step forward with a lean back. Second round, we always do frontal plane stuff. So rather than putting that foot right in front of you, you're gonna land it out wide. If your knees are the middle of the clock, you're landing it at 11 o'clock. This is my favorite one. You're trying to bring, if my left foot's out, Right arm up and over the head, shift the weight towards that left leg, bicep to the ear, reach, and then come back in, whoop, both knees together. Step that foot out wide, big shift, reach over the head, back to neutral. 6 on each side. This is a good one. It should feel like, wow, that first one, you're like, ooh, I'm like, look at like cobwebs between my rib cage. Gotta stretch them out. Imagine inhale when you step forward. Exhale as you go into that lunge. And as with all of these things, try to not get too stuck in that furthest reach. You're kind of just trying to move until you hit that wall, that sticky spot, and then come right back out of it. So there's really no pause. It's just move until you can't move any further and then slowly come back out of it. All right. Last one on each side. Nice job. All right, when you're done with the 6 on each side, you're gonna go back to straight arm plank. So like I said, we're gonna keep building on this. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So you're gonna go into this like hovering child's pose, big step forward. Yep, quick, just hand lift. And do all 6 on that right side. Hovering child's pose, big step, hands come up off the ground. Hovering child's pose, big step. So you're going straight from that far back child's pose. As you move forward, you're just bringing that leg with you. It helps if you exhale on that, so go inhale. So imagine you're trying to get a little oomph from that exhale out. Same thing on the other side. Go to that child's pose, big wide step, hands off the ground. Nice job. All right, after those 6, stand on up. Back to those straight leg lifts with the knee bends. So remember, we do 2 things on one side, then 2 on the other. So start off with one leg lifting up to the side and back down, just 15. This should feel like a super simple, basic move. Like if somebody were watching you, they'd be wondering why are they struggling. That looks so easy. Imagine you have laser beams pointing out of your toes and they have to be shooting forward the whole time. A lot of times we have a tendency to just turn out because we can get the leg higher, not the goal. If you like dig your thumb right into that hip adductor, you can feel it's like loose, super tight, loose, super tight. All right, once you've done those 15, hold that leg as high as you can comfortably hold it. And now imagine you're driving the knee forward, tuck, and extend. So from the side, it looks like this. Knee tuck, extend. It's not just a hamstring curl. You're pulling that knee forward and extending the leg. Because remember, we're trying to make this a hip exercise. Meanwhile, keeping the shoulders even. A lot of people have a tendency to just like tilt because it's easier. It gives that hip a break. All right, same 2 things on the other side. Whenever you're ready. Just those 15 straight leg raise. And if you're truly moving it just on that narrow plane with the toes pointed forward, you should feel like it's a difficult enough workout. You don't need weight, you don't need to be bouncing, you don't need to be doing anything else to make this harder. Our hips don't often move in this truly frontal plane position, so when we ask them to do it, it's kind of foreign. Once you're done with those 15, hold that leg comfortably high, bend the knee, extend. Bend the knee, extend. Nice job, guys. These are hard. They don't look that hard. This is one that I need to figure out a name for these things. They're deceptively hard.
It's deliciously hard.
Nice job. 15 of those. When you're done with those, you're going back to that straight arm plank for those out in hip moves. similar to what we were just doing. So arms are gonna be straight, legs are back. Without any wiggle in the core or shift forward or back, you're just going right foot out wide, left foot out wide, right foot back in, left foot back in. It's easy if you let the upper half of the body move. It's much harder if you try to keep everything in the core perfectly still. So go 5 leading with the right. Out, out, in is 1. And then 5 leading with the left. If you have gliders or you have socks on carpet, that works too. Or socks on hardwood. Socks on carpet would not work. Bit of too much friction maybe.
I don't know. Wouldn't be too bad.
All right. And last one in this sequence, if you have a glider. If you want to buy these gliders, they're pretty cool. You can get them, this one's called Synergy glider. I don't know,
Like
look up.
$5 on Amazon or something.
Yeah, they're like $5. In fact, I think you can buy like a pack of 12. Maybe you should just like call up a friend and ask them if they want one too. It's one of those like buy one, get 11 free. But I only have 2 legs. Okay, so either the glider's under 1 foot or you're like socks on hardwood right now. Without leaning away from where we're sending that foot, just send the foot way out wide. Everything here is staying even. Push weight into that leg and pull it back in. And you'll feel a huge difference. If you don't have weight in that moving foot, it should feel really easy, which is awesome, but not as effective. There's a huge difference if you're pushing that foot down. If you have those like long elastic bands, like a hair rubber band, but like times 100, you can loop it around a pole and step through it and do these with some resistance, and it makes it like 100 times harder. So as you're pulling that foot in, push weight into it, push, 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 and pull it back in.
How many are we doing?
15. Also, if you're on a hardwood floor and you have like a hand towel, you can put like a can of beans on it. You can put a dumbbell, anything to just make it a little heavier. The hip adductors, a hard thing to work out. I think when we were doing these, I call them adductors. These are your abductors. These are your adductors. Same thing on the other side. I try to remember because these muscles help add things to your center line. I have a lot of weird ways of remembering things. May work for you, may not. Abductors are here. I think like my abs continue to wrap around to the outside of my hips. Abductors, adductors. Adductors are things that fatigue really quickly, and they're hard things to target when we were strength training. Because it's just a weird, we have those little machines where you sit down and go out and in. That's not very realistic movement. So as much as you can do this kind of glider work, banded work, Pilates does a lot of that kind of stuff where you do these big frog kick kind of things. All right, when you're done with those 15, good news. That's gonna be the end of that second hip round. So we'll do some abs between, just to get you doing other things, give the hips a break. So lay down whenever you're ready. Similar to last time, start with those knees tucked up. This time, just go through 15 quick lifts. You don't have to pause at the top. Keep the heels as close to the glutes as possible, so you're really just keeping the lower half of the body like this tight little unit. When you're done there, straighten out the legs and try what we did the first round when the knees were tucked. So you're trying to go hip raise, pause, slow on the way back down. And it may be like a minuscule pause, but your abs will feel it. Tell your brain to tell your abs to just try to stop them at the top just for a second, a millisecond. 15 of those guys. You should have like 4 or 5 more. And then go chin to the chest. Slowly lower down the legs. And this time, just like everything else we've been doing, legs are gonna go out wide, back in. Toes are still pointed up towards the ceiling. That's the only rule. We're moving on that truly frontal plane position. $15 of these guys, you should have like 4 or 5 left. Nice job. All right, do it one more time. One more. Yay! All right, so back down on your knees, under that cushion, if you have one. I like refold my cushion. All right, so back down to these big hip stretches. First round was here. Second round was here. Third round is even further and toes out. An important thing to notice is that movement's just happening in that femur. I'm not turning towards it to make that movement happen. I will eventually rotate towards it, but the first step. So big wide step, shift the weight towards that side and imagine you're trying to get the opposite elbow to that opposite kneecap. And then come back to neutral, big wide step, opposite elbow, opposite knee, and switch. 6 on each side. These should feel good. Again, just move slowly. Get as far into that stretch as you can. No rush. So this third round is always working on rotation, known as your transverse plane. We always do that one third because why?
We use it the least often.
Like Jason's done these workouts with me enough that he knows my script. So plane of motion, you're most likely to get injured in. So we wait until you're really warmed up. All right, 6 of those on each side. Feel good? Hands are gonna go down to the ground. Both feet go back. So we're gonna get even, I told you this is gonna be progressive. So you're gonna do a push-up. Go back to child's pose with those hovering knees. Big step forward. And then come all the way up. See if you can bring your shoulders back. Hands go back down. Same thing, push up, child's pose. Go same leg forward. Up, we'll do 5 on each side. 1 push up, child's pose, big step forward, and up. Nice job. These are hard. What?
Is that 4 or 3?
No, that was 3. Now we're on 4. 1 more, push up. Jason's trying to cheat.
Oh no.
All right. 5 on the other side when you're ready. You got this. These are hard. This is probably one of the harder sequences. Just do what feels right. If doing 3 really well feels right, that's more than you would have done if you had signed on for mobility today, than if you hadn't just signed on for mobility. Small detail. Nice job, guys. It should all feel smooth and connected. You're just going from one to the next. Your body knows what's coming next. So you can slowly shift the weight and prep for it. Oops. Nice work. Yay! Okay, when you're done there, you get to stand up. I don't know if that's a bonus. All right, so remember the leg lifts. We did forward, we did side. Now we're going to the back. So without leaning forward, raise, return. Raise, return. Straight leg. It's all isolated from the middle of that hamstring to the upper part of that glute. $15 of these. Nice job. When you're done with those 15, again, hold it comfortably high. And imagine doing these like donkey kicks. You're going knee tuck, kick back, knee tuck, kick back. Try to avoid leaning forward. I can see myself in the camera and I'm like gradually leaning forward. So keep reminding yourself straight up and down. Don't try to cheat. It doesn't matter how high the leg's getting. Leaning forward just makes the leg go higher in space. It doesn't actually make the joint do anything better. When you're done with those 15, same 2 things on the other side. Straight leg raise, return. Keep the shoulders back. Neck is an extension of the spine. Like to act like a string is like pulling from the top of your head and making it a little bit taller. $15. And then once you're done with those, hold that leg comfortably high and then tuck the knee, donkey kick back. The funny thing is, this is not how donkeys would kick at all. Their joint bends the complete other direction. Why do we call it a donkey kick? I guess they do kick back. Nice job, 15 of those guys. All right, so back to under plank, feet together, chin to the chest, roll down slowly. Go opposite knee to opposite elbow. So you're just gonna slide the foot in, trying to bring the knee up to that like forearm. Slide the foot in, alternating sides, 5 on each side, 10 total. We only have one more thing after this. When you're done there, stand back up. Last thing, if you have a glider, put it under one foot. If you don't need it. I won't even use it. I'll show you don't need them. Balance on the left foot, right foot, you just kind of have the ball of the foot down, toes down, and you're just doing this big rotation speed skater and back up. We'll go through 10 on each side, and then you're done. I imagine we're gonna go over by like a minute, so I owe you a minute of your life back. I gotta figure out how to give those things back. 10 of these. Now we're just asking the hip to basically do as much rotation as you possibly can get. Nice job, guys. This is a hard one. We had a lot of stuff to do, so we moved a little quickly. Fortunately, this is recorded, so if you are watching the recorded version, you could always just pause it. These are always recorded and stored in the library. So if you're like, oh, that hip mobility one from Jason's half birthday on July 14th was a good one, you can always come back and watch it. Do you know it's your half birthday?
My half birthday.
Happy half birthday, Jason. Nice job, guys. How many more?
One more? Well,
Last
that's
one?
10 right there.
Oh, yeah, we're only doing 10. Oh, and it's 5 o'clock. I got you out just in time. Yay!
Bye, everyone.
Bye, good to see you guys.
Thanks, Mallory. That was fun.
Yeah, awesome, well done.
You're really good at talking to yourself for 30 minutes straight.
Like, I'm actually breathing really heavy, but I try to string the words together so you don't notice. After this, I go just pass out.
Always good. Love this ability. Thank you.
Bye, Sarah.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Oh, shush.